Happy Easter to all. My dear brothers and sisters, we are in this Easter season. What does Easter remind you of? Isn't it joy and celebration? And indeed, that's what it is. Joy and celebration in the midst of any storm that we might be facing right now. I know in our own community, in the world community, we are in the storm of the coronavirus right now. But a little bit of Easter can go a long, long way in bringing us joy and celebration. In the first reading on this Wednesday, the apostles brought that joy to others. They healed a man in the Acts of the Apostles, and guess what happened? The man stood up and started celebrating, praising God because that joy had touched him as well. How about the gospel reading today from the Gospel of Luke? Here are two people whom we have never ever heard about in the gospel reading, and they are moving as disciples from Jerusalem back home to Emmaus. They were so disappointed, so dejected, and so sad that their master had been put to death. The one they had put all their hopes into, he was no more. In their sadness, Jesus joins and begins to walk alongside them. And as he walked, he discusses about everything that had taken place. But from this walk, we can learn many truths about Easter. But I would like us to draw to three different truths today in a nutshell. Number one, we don't know who these disciples were. We never hear about them before, and we never hear about them after. This symbolizes that Jesus, who is risen, begins to appear not only to the giants of faith, John, Peter, James, Mary Magdalene, and so on, but he appears even to the simple disciples, to ordinary men and women like you and I. The Lord will appear to us if we call upon him, and he will bring us a little bit of celebration, a little bit of joy during pandemics or storms that come our way. The Easter joy is for you and for me. The second truth that we learn from this story is that Emmaus was a very tiny place close to Jerusalem. We never hear about this place and anything good coming from this place. What does it remind us of? Jesus begins to appear even in insignificant places. What other places could Jesus appear in? Isn't it in your own home? In your own family? During this lockdown? Isn't it on the jogging trail? When you walk around? Isn't it in the shopping mall when you meet others? Jesus will appear anywhere and everywhere for you and for me to have a little bit of joy. The third thing that we see in the story is that the disciples, these two gentlemen, were so sad, their dreams and hopes were shattered, but Jesus makes them recognize that there is life beyond all the shattered dreams and all the pains and sorrows of our lives. It was in the breaking of the bread. And what does that symbolize to us? It is the Eucharist. When we gather together to break the Eucharist, the Lord comes present and shows us beyond your pains, beyond your sorrows, beyond your shattered dreams, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And it is that light that we bring in our lives and say, Lord, thank you. May I too become the light that brings that light to my brothers and sisters. The Easter joy that everybody has to experience, that which I myself have experienced. May the Lord continue to open our eyes as we continue moving along this journey of Easter. Christ is risen. Christ is truly risen.